Bienvenidos.
Hi. Bienvenidos.
Hola.
Quiñepanco.
We welcome you from Santiago, Chile.
De la Patagonia chilena.
Del Instituto de Neurociencias Biomédicas.
De Viña Emiliana, en donde producimos uno de los mejores vinos orgánicos del mundo.
De Paraná, en el desierto de Atacama, donde están los cielos más transparentes del planeta.
From Santiago, Chile, where we develop great video games for the world.
Salida, Chile, donde producimos uno de los mejores aceites de oliva de Latinoamérica.
De Chuquicamata, la mina a cielo abierto más grande del mundo.
Un saludo desde el Parque Nacional Torres del Paine, declarado Reserva de la Biosfera.
Desde Faro Punta Dúngenes, donde comienza el Estrecho de Magallanes.
Calemoria, Ñigualma, Pumeo.
Desde Agrícola Santa Luisa, donde se produce palta para todo el mundo.
Un saludo a Caleta de Orcol, región de Valparaíso.
Bienvenidos a Clean Energy Ministerial 12 y Mission Innovation 6. Bienvenidos a Chile. Estamos muy contentos y muy esperanzados de recibirlos y de poder compartir con ustedes nuestras iniciativas, nuestras experiencias para combatir el cambio climático, y estamos muy esperanzados de que juntos podremos seguir descubriendo soluciones innovadoras para enfrentar este trascendental desafío. I am proud to welcome all of you into our country that contributes only with 0.25% of the global emissions, but is a country that is determined and committed to reducing its emission even further and to help other countries to do the same. Our country has over 6,400 kilometers of coastline. This privilege has inspired us to implement a network of marine protected areas that covers over 42% of our exclusive economic zone. These areas not only protect and increase biodiversity, they also work as a repository from which adjacent fishing areas can be repleted and have allowed us to develop sustainable activities like tourism and fishing. Chile's concern over marine biodiversity stretches all the way to its Antarctic territory. In Antarctica, we are also promoting the establishment of a marine protected area. We are aware of the importance of the Antarctic as a source of clean water, as a thermal regulator for the whole world, and of its impact in the levels of the oceans. Therefore, to further understand this phenomenon, we will deploy a network of multi-parametric sensors, like this one from the Antarctic Peninsula through close to the South Pole. And we will share the information collected with this network with scientists from all over the world through the Climate Change Observatory that we will inaugurate at the end of this year. Chile is not only protecting and studying the elements provided to us by our geography and nature. We are also harnessing their power to boost us forward towards a greener, cleaner, and more sustainable future. From the strong winds of the Patagonia to the clear skies of the Atacama Desert, our geography provides us with the tools we need to develop and rely on clean and renewable energies. The potential of these energies is so huge that we can provide us with over 70 times the amount of energy that we are using today. Let me show you how we are realizing this potential today. In the heart of the Atacama Desert, this is Cerro Dominador, the first concentrating solar power plant of Latin America. It is composed by over 10,000 mirrors of over 140 square meters each, which reflect the sunlight into a tower where the heat is transferred to molten salts This heat can be stored and then transferred to steam turbines, allowing the plant to produce 110 megawatts of electricity day and night. This plant will save around 640,000 tons of CO2 emissions per year. There are sectors, however, in which the electricity produced from renewable energy is not so efficient or is not cost effective. And this is where green hydrogen comes into the picture. Green hydrogen is obtained from water and clean energy, like the one produced by these wind turbines, and is ideal for decarbonizing more complex and energy-intensive sectors, like the industry and heavy transportation. Studies have shown that by 2050, over 20% of the energy consumed in the world can be provided through green hydrogen. And Chile wants to play its role to ensure that this will be done through green hydrogen. And to that end, we have developed a national hydrogen strategy that will make us the most efficient producer of this fuel in the globe, will guide us to our goal of achieving carbon neutrality by 2000 or before 2050. And since green hydrogen can be exported, it will also allow us to help other countries achieve their own carbon neutrality goals. We are already seeing the first results of this strategy. In the following weeks, here in the southern part of our country, near the city of Punta Arenas, we will begin constructing the first green hydrogen plant in Latin America. A plant that will produce over 350 tons of methanol and 130,000 liters of gasoline per year. We know that the energy sector is responsible for over 70% of the total emissions worldwide. This is why we are increasing our use of renewable energies from 53% of our total matrix to over 60% by the end of this year. We will also reduce the number of carbon-based power plants by 50% within the next 4 years. And by 2040, we will phase out all of them, and we will fully rely on clean energy. In Chile, we are transforming the energy sector from the biggest responsible for global warming into the main solution to this problem. During the last year, like the rest of the world, we were forced to reduce our mobility, to remain at home, and to quarantine. Climate change, however, has not reduced its advance, has not shown its pace, and has not been quarantined. We must be equally relentless. We know that global warming and climate change are the biggest threats to our generation and to the future. And we also know that we are the last generation to be in a position to do something about it. And we must do it now. This is a responsibility that cannot be avoided. It's a moral responsibility. We owe it to ourselves, and most of all, to the generations to come. With respect to global warming and climate change, science has spoken loud and clear. It is time for us to listen to science and to take bold and resolute actions. In Chile, we are proud of our country, and we are proud of the efforts that we are making to ensure that our energy matrix, our industries, our transportation system, and the very way in which we think of our future are becoming greener and safer by the day. I am pleased to welcome all of you to Chile and to Clean Energy Ministerial 12 and Mission Innovation 6. And we invite you to make of this summit the turning point to conduct us to a greener, safer, and better future for all mankind. Thank you very much.
Dear CEM and MI community, I would like to begin by thanking our host, the government of Chile, for hosting the CEM12 and the MI-6 ministerial meetings. I know from experience how difficult it is to organize an event of this magnitude under these difficult circumstances. Last year, Saudi Arabia was able to step in to host the CEM11 and the MI-5 ministerial meeting in the week leading to the G20 ministerial during the Saudi presidency. It was the first virtual ministerial meeting in CEM and MI meetings. The theme of last year's meeting was supporting the recovery, shaping the future. We were very encouraged to see the strong engagement from all the CEM and MI community and from governments, NGOs and private sector. It was an extraordinary year and full of challenges. We have all been wrestling with our real-time response to the pandemic while taking decisions that will shape the world in the long term, especially in the energy sector. Saudi Arabia managed to overcome the technical challenges and the associated difficulties of coordinating and hosting a virtual ministerial meeting with a record level of ministerial participation at the CEM11. As we recover from the pandemic, we are still meeting virtually. Our host for this year is Chile. We wish our colleagues and friends in Chile all the best, and we look forward to Chile's hosting of this year's ministerial meetings.
Hello to you all from Santiago de Chile. It is truly a pleasure to officially welcome you to the 12th Clean Energy Ministerial and the 6th Mission Innovation Ministerial events. It is a virtual welcome to Chile for now, but we hope once things resume some sense of normality, we will be able to welcome you here to our country and show off the beauty that Chile has to offer. In the meantime, I hope you are keeping well, staying healthy, and taking care of yourselves. This is the second time that COVID has prevented us from being face-to-face at the most important international event on clean energy and innovation. Last year, Saudi Arabia had the challenge of taking the reins and putting together an event in record time. I want to thank and congratulate them for the amazing job they did. We now know firsthand how difficult a task it is to organize an event of this magnitude entirely online. But it is worth the effort, considering how crucial both these forums are for addressing the challenges of our time. In the last year, these challenges have appeared to multiply. The global pandemic continues to bring untold suffering to our societies and create fear for our families and friends. The impacts of climate change, forever looming, are now being felt harder, more frequently, and more severely than ever before. And at the same time, governments around the world are being forced to confront these two phenomena while also striving towards more equitable societies for the citizens they serve. Today, we find ourselves in the middle of this complex, interrelated web of challenges competing for our attention and demanding innovative and effective solutions. It is with this tangled maze that we can look to one another and find inspiration, opportunity, and hope. The last 12 months have brought into stark reality the fragility of humankind, but also how, in the face of devastating global catastrophe, we can deliver tangible solutions to seemingly impossible challenges. It has demonstrated the best of the human spirit. Our ingenuity and resolve allowed for the record development and rollout of multiple vaccines for COVID-19, demonstrating how crucial innovation and technology are for confronting some of our most urgent threats. Our resiliency and capacity to adapt have been remarkable, as we have reshaped our societies and institutions to survive and even thrive with life under the pandemic, and to build back better and greener. Similarly, our ability to empathize and then communicate and collaborate with others remains one of the truly defining strengths of our species. Without it, efforts made to save the sick and console the suffering would have been lost to selfishness and self-interest. All these qualities of the human spirit are also defining features behind the work we do at CEM and MI. Over the next week, we will focus our attention and energy on these traits as we seek to mobilize momentum and action. We will emphasize ingenuity and innovation, improving how we can harness natural resources to produce increasing amounts of renewable energy, converting coal power plants, creating smarter grids and more robust infrastructure, innovating nuclear technology, CCUS, and green hydrogen, among many other initiatives member countries are leading. We will discuss how we can once again prove our resilience and capacity to adapt by transforming transportation in vehicles, shipping, and aviation, delivering deep decarbonization to industrial sectors, transitioning communities, rethinking how we can use energy through energy efficiency, and ensuring the growth and flexibility of our electrical grids. And we will draw on our empathy to reconnect with the struggle of the most vulnerable people and to imagine the potential hardship climate change could bring to future generations. And with that empathy as a fuel, we will mobilize ourselves to expand our coalitions to include more diverse voices, youth, more women, workers, and communities, to empower people and give them the training and skills they need to fulfill the jobs of tomorrow, today, to unleash the power of the private sector and financial markets to fund the investment needed, while at the same time fostering international collaboration so that any benefits and successes are achieved together and equitably shared. We are excited and inspired by the work to come and eagerly await the discussions, commitments, and solutions we will deliver over this week and into a decade of action on climate. Chile has tried to contribute to the task by creating a new, innovative virtual platform in which we can meet and share ideas. We may be physically distant, but this online tool will allow us to come together, connect, and conduct an event that is digital, diverse, and dynamic. As is fitting in such an important event, we have assembled some of the most creative and innovative leaders on clean energy to share their thoughts on how we can achieve our individual and collective aims. We are honored to welcome the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, US Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry, Executive Director of UNFCCC Patricia Espinosa, Bill Gates, Michael Bloomberg, and many more outstanding speakers. In this crucial year for climate action, we don't have any time to lose. It is vital that as we come towards COP26, we turn ambition into commitments, commitments into action, and action into results. We all have our part to play in making this clean energy transition a reality. I want to thank all the teams that have made this bold and ambitious event possible, and to welcome you once again to Chile. Our work awaits. Thank you.
Ministers, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to start by thanking Minister Jobet and the Government of Chile for hosting the 6th Mission Innovation Ministerial and the 12th Clean Energy Ministerial. In this critical year for climate action, these will be the most important clean energy meetings on the road to COP26. For Mission Innovation, this is a turning point since the initiative was born at COP21 in 2015. The 6th Ministerial will bring together heads of government, ministers, business and finance leaders to celebrate 5 years of success and launch the next phase of our journey. Since 2015, Mission Innovations have achieved amazing things. We have invested an additional $18 billion in clean energy innovation, with countries doubling their investment. We've supported over 150 new international collaborations. We've driven new breakthrough technologies closer to the market. And we've celebrated leading innovators as energy champions around the world. I'm hugely proud of what we have achieved together over the last 5 years. And I'd like to thank everyone for the hard work of ministers, officials, the Secretariat, our collaborating organizations, and the innovators and private sector representatives who've worked with Mission Innovation to enable us to achieve these impressive results. But I think if we're gathered here today virtually under the hosting of the Chilean authorities, we know that we need to go further and faster. Reaching net zero by 2050 requires rapid deployment, and it also requires huge leaps in clean energy innovation, with almost half of the reductions to achieve the Paris Agreement to come from technologies that are currently at demonstration or even only prototype phase. International collaboration will enable us to commercialize these technologies faster and at a lower cost. This is therefore the decade that innovation must deliver, and this is the time that we must step up the pace of this journey. This movement and effort depends not just on governments, but also on scientists, engineers, investors, entrepreneurs, and young people. I hope that you will join us across the events this week and for the launch of Mission Innovation 2.0 at the Innovating to Net Zero Summit on the 2nd of June. You won't want to miss it.
Welcome to the 12th Clean Energy Ministerial, CEM12. We're thrilled to bring together the CEM community for a huge week of exciting virtual events that seek to bring insight, impact, and inspiration. Our deepest gratitude to the government of Chile and Minister Jobet and his team in the Ministry of Energy in particular for hosting CEM12. They've done an amazing job preparing a digital and dynamic virtual experience for all of us to enjoy. The Clean Energy Ministerial, or CEM as we call it, brings together coalitions of countries, companies, and international experts to achieve one mission: to accelerate clean energy transitions around the world. Now, we're really lucky to have the world's largest and leading clean energy economies as members, and many of the world's leading clean energy companies and experts as partners and participants. Together, we have a massive and massively committed clean energy community that recognises that international collaboration in the CEM is to the benefit of each and to the benefit of all. As our global clean energy community comes to the 12th Clean Energy Ministerial hosted by Chile, what are we seeking to achieve? Well, importantly, the context for this year's meeting is anything but normal. Not only because of COVID, but because this is a critical clean energy meeting happening in the middle of a critical year of climate and clean energy action. CEM12 will be building upon the UK IEA Net Zero Summit and the US Climate Summit that has come before it. And it will importantly be building up to the pivotal COP26 meeting at the end of this year, widely seen as the most important climate meeting since COP21 in Paris in 2015. Expectations are high, as is the responsibility to deliver. So first, what are we looking to deliver? Well, we're looking to deliver a huge program of clean energy events, the biggest program that we've ever had, and all available for all of you to watch online. These bring our global clean energy community together to showcase action and to demonstrate leadership. Second, we are asking our members to agree an ambitious new 5-year mandate. It is time to set a bold course for the next phase of the CEM, one that looks to supercharge 3 key shifts in the clean energy landscape. The first is scale. The pace of clean energy deployment this decade must far outpace that of the last decade, moving us rapidly from niche to mass to massive scale across a wide range of clean energy technologies. The second is sectors. Now, while the power sector will remain critical to clean energy transitions, the focus must keep evolving from one sector to every sector and to cross-sectoral integration of our energy systems. And third, society. A whole of society approach must emerge that looks from the role of governments and companies all the way through to the role of consumers and citizens. A new mandate for the CEM, focused on these three shifts, will enable our global community to not just accelerate, but rather supercharge clean energy action. And also at the CEM this year, we're looking to add to our 20 active clean energy work streams. CEM12 will see new global coalitions launched to work on important issues such as accelerating the decarbonisation of heavy industry, growing a sustainable global bioeconomy, empowering people in clean energy transitions, and building a global network of clean hydrogen shipping ports. In addition to all of this, we will happily welcome new members to the CEM this year, host the launches of several major new clean energy reports, see new clean energy awards presented, trigger talks from global leaders, and much, much more. Overall, the whole week will really be focused on the simple phrase, ambition into action. How does our global clean energy community turn a big year of global clean energy ambition into a big decade of clean energy action? Now, whether you know the CEM well or are engaging with us for the first time, please feel very welcome and enjoy CEM12. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity to participate in the most important international summit on clean energy and innovation of 2021, CEM and MI, of which Chile is the host country. As you know, the pandemic has caused enormous damage to people in all countries and regions. According to the Inter-American Development Bank, only Latin America and the Caribbean has lost of the GDP in 2020 was 7.4%, the largest figure in many decades. In this context, international cooperation is very important for the economic recovery post-pandemic. As for any other economic area, to be sustainable, recovery must be green. We have a great opportunity to enhance productivity through innovation and investing for a greener and more sustainable future, aiming to zero net carbon emissions. In addition, international cooperation is necessary for climate action. To solve global problems, global efforts are required. Chile attaches great importance to an economy that is committed to the environment and sustainable development. In this area, our country has made successful efforts in the transformation of this energy matrix based on clean and renewable energy sources, mainly wind and solar energy, which today constitute more than 20% of our matrix. Chile promotes a national green hydrogen strategy, the fuel of the future. Our goal is to become the cheapest provider and one of the main 3 exporters of green hydrogen in the near future. We want Chile to host the development of new technologies and to contribute to the creation of new solutions for the good of the planet, for those who inhabit it today and for the future generations. We welcome you to Chile as the host country for the Clean Energy Ministerial 12 and Mission Innovation 6 International Summit, a key event to address the clean energy challenges ahead of COP26 in Glasgow.
Dear colleagues and friends, warm greetings from Chile. Climate change is the greatest challenge we have as a generation, and facing it decisively and with a sense of urgency is an ethical, social and economic imperative. Chile has committed with great conviction to the goal of carbon neutrality by 2050 at the latest, as requested by science and the Paris Agreement. Achieving this goal requires carrying out important changes in order to decouple the generation of emissions from the economic growth and strongly promote the transformation to a more sustainable and low-carbon development. In this spirit, in April last year, in the middle of the pandemic, Chile presented a significantly enhanced NDC that aligns with Chile's long-term goal of carbon neutrality by 2050 in accordance with the Paris Agreement. Our NDC represents a critical milestone on the road to net zero emissions, committing Chile to an absolute carbon budget for the period 2020-2030 and a series of other measures spanning adaptation and integrative actions on oceans, forests, circular economy, finance and nature-based solutions. What I especially want to highlight is the inclusion of a social pillar in our NDC. This serves as an anchor for our climate commitments, connecting them to the Sustainable Development Goals and committing us to develop a just transition strategy that will ensure livelihoods, particularly in the most vulnerable communities, that are protected as we phase out coal from our energy system. We are currently in the process of developing Chile's long-term national climate strategy, which will establish emission targets for each sector of our economy. Our strategy will define the medium and long-term pathway that the country will follow in a cross-cutting and integrated manner, considering a 30-year horizon to achieve carbon neutrality and increase climate change resilience by 2050. Despite the many challenges of COVID-19, the international community must come together at COP26 to accelerate action to reduce greenhouse emissions and strengthen adaptation and resilience to climate change. We have a big challenge in front of us, no doubt, But at the same time, we have a unique opportunity to use this crisis to accelerate our transformation to a more inclusive, cleaner, healthier, low carbon and resilient economy for the world's future. Thanks to its natural characteristics and conditions, Chile can commit to a green, sustainable and nature-friendly development without sacrificing its growth and development potential. Reaching carbon neutrality for Chile will bring important social, environmental, and economic benefits. Particularly, the transition to clean energy requires investment between $40 and $50 billion, which will bring an estimated $30 billion in net benefits. The call is for all to continue promoting the growth of renewable and clean energies, such as green hydrogen, in order to contribute to an effective mitigation of our carbon emissions and to significantly improve the quality of life of Chileans. Thank you.
Dear authorities, government representatives, friends of science and clean energies, it is a privilege to participate in the Clean Energy Ministerial and Mission Innovation opening ceremony that invites us to discuss the adoption of clean energy and the acceleration in related innovation initiatives. I express my sincere gratitude to the Prime Minister of Energy and Mining of Chile, Juan Jobet, for kindly hosting this conference and providing us the conditions for a very productive environment of conversation. Limiting the global mean temperature to well below 2 degrees and pursuing efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees, as established in the Paris Agreement, requires each country to prepare, communicate, and maintain increasingly ambitious nationally determined contributions, or NDC. In its role of presidency for COP25, Chile has pointed out that climate policies must be based on the best scientific evidence. One way to do this is to establish an operational and practical link between science and public policies. As a Ministry of Science, we are committed to establishing formal communication channels where the best available science is a fundamental input for climate action. Certainly, through the systematic hand-in-hand work of scientists, policy and decision makers, high-quality evidence holds its true potential to reach different key players and contribute to decision-making. In this context, for example, we recognize the compelling evidence produced by the international scientific community on global warming, land, ocean, and cryosphere as part of the IPCC 6th assessment cycle of climate change. In addition, in 2019, we organized the Climate Change Scientific Committee to provide scientific knowledge that contributes to evidence-informed recommendations to address key challenges of climate change in Chile, both in mitigation and adaptation. More than 600 national scientists contributed to define nearly 200 recommendations for public policies that recognize, among others, our huge potential of producing clean energy from different renewable sources and territories. Crucially, based on the evidence produced by our national scientific community, we committed to a realistic carbon budget between 2020 and 2030, a peak of emissions by 2027, and a consequent long-term goal to greenhouse gases neutrality by 2050. All these commitments are formalized in our NDC and drive public initiatives such as our Long-Term Climate Strategy 2050, the National Energy Policy 2050, the Strategy for Climate Change, Technology Develop and Transfer, and many others. Two keywords come to mind when thinking of the future: sustainability and technology. We have witnessed the dedication of thousands of scientists willing to contribute to public policies, and we know that millions of people are expecting solutions based on our current understanding of the dynamics, complexities, and effects of climate change. From our perspective, clean energy initiatives set up a new vehicle to use scientific knowledge and technology for sustainable development. Therefore, I can hardly conceive a better instance than this conference and the results it will provide to give us the chance to reflect on these not so simple issues and to prepare for action, thus responding to growing social and economic expectations, especially regarding the role of clean energy and innovation in the future of humankind in a changing climate. I wish you all a very productive and influential meeting. Thank you very much.